Cowl.
Welcome everyone.
Hey guys, how are you?
So nice to see you all.
Yes. I'm coming from lots of places.
Yeah. So nice. Welcome.
I feel like I'm in the half dark.
You're in a yarn bus. You get a free pass on this. on any lighting issues, you get a free pass because you have the coolest office of all.
It's fun. It'll get hotter.
Oh boy, I bet.
Not today, but next months. Hey guys.
Nice to see you. See so many friends here. It's great. Hi, Wynn.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Okay, which one's Mom?
Julie.
I was going to try to get a cool background, but I can't.
It's all right.
I'm lame with that.
You're here. It's all good.
And Mom, where do you live?
I live in North Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Recording.
Yeah, just near me, a few miles, like 7 miles from me.
Oh, so she can pop in and take care of the baby.
Yeah, we'll
So
hang
it's not
tomorrow.
anymore. Oh, let's see. Where's Mary?
While we're waiting for folks to come in, I'm going to put my info up in the chat so you can find out where to
That's awesome.
kind of get in touch with me, that kind of stuff. And I'll put it up later too.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Angie.
Well, ooh, the XYZ.
Mystery knitter. I love it. Oh, welcome. Oh, I'm so excited.
You are so sweet.
You're sweet. Thanks for having me.
Well,
Thanks
absolutely.
for reaching out.
So I guess it's a little after 7, so a few folks will pop in and we'll let them on and everything, but I thought we'd go ahead and get started. I know that Shaina was so sweet to put it out on her newsletter. There's Debbie finally. I wonder where she was. And she put it out on her newsletter, so I thought, oh, there might be some folks I don't know, so I have to prepare to introduce myself. So but anyway, I'm Angie Reach, and I am in Grayson, Georgia, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know Shaina through Keith and doing some test knits for her, and I just love her. And so I thought I've got a couple of her knits down here that I've done, and I just have had a great time with her. But I own a mobile yarn bus, and I travel within 4 hours of my home, so it puts me up into the Carolinas and up into Tennessee and all around Georgia. So but I've been open 3 years September, so I started September of 19, and who would have thought? It wasn't in my business plan, so
None of ours, yeah.
I know I've survived it, and I'm looking forward to keep rolling. And but anyway, that's me. It's the traveling yarn yogi, and this is, you'll see her in a minute a little bit more, but this is Purl. I'm sitting inside Purl, so
So exciting.
Yes, it's great. But anyway, Shaina's done a lot of stuff for all kinds of, you've got a huge background.
Yes.
Bigger than I thought. I mean, I didn't know you crocheted and did a lot of stuff. That's awesome. So how about you introduce yourself?
Okay, I will. Thank you for having me. I love that you said that you're still rolling, and because it has so many meanings with your business, right? That you're rolling literally, and then also with the yarn. And anywho, so I'm Shaina Billow. I am a knitting teacher, knitwear designer from Northern New Jersey. I have been knitting for 20 years. My mom, who's here, taught me how to knit when I was a senior in high school. Well, first when I was 13, but I knit for one night and then forgot everything. And then again when I was 17. So actually, then I guess I've been knitting 21 years, coming up to 22. Who can keep track? But anyway, so I learned in high school and then immediately taught my best friend. And then I was a summer camp counselor, taught all the kids in my unit. So it's always been in the cards for me as soon as I started knitting to be a teacher. And then the design piece of it came shortly after. When I graduated from college, I opened a yarn shop with my mom and my sister, and we ended up doing a lot of designing for our customers because there was just a lack of great patterns, and sometimes people wanted to knit certain yarns to look like a certain piece that just wasn't available. So we learned how to do some design work, and I've since we closed our shop a while back, I've been teaching and doing more design, and it's just been a blast. I'm so lucky I get to do this. And I have a fabulous son named Harrison and a fabulous husband, Matt. And we have a little rescue dog, Katie. I say she's little. She's 40 pounds. She looks like a dingo, actually. She looks like a wild dog. And anytime we walk her in town, people are like, is that a fox? You know, she's a special one. But yeah, that's just a little about me, but I'm sure we'll talk more and more. And if anyone has any questions, of course, I'm reading the chat. So welcome.
Chat, but I don't know if I can, but anyway, I will in a minute. I'll make sure. And we thought we would record this and Shaina put it on her YouTube. Up on
She's got regular TV on.
I'm going to mute the room too, that way. So Angie, you may need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah, just so we don't get background noise and stuff.
Yeah, I let the pro do it because I'm still learning all this. So making her a co-host was the great move on my part. So.
I cannot believe how much I've learned about Zoom and like technology. I'm really not technologically savvy, and I've done so much both for my business and now with, you know, the necessary having to do all of this stuff online. I've learned so much. But yeah.
Well, tell me about what do you like to design the most? Is there anything favorite?
Sweaters. Sweaters. I love sweaters. I kind of knit shawls and hats and other smaller accessories out of necessity because so many knitters want and need those projects and are afraid to knit sweaters. And also it's really fun to work out interesting patterns on small pieces. So I do those, out of necessity and to play with stitch patterns and textures and yarns. But sweaters are my one true love with knitting. Yeah. So yeah, I love knitting sweaters, but I do love designing all of it. I like the math that's involved with shaping hats. I like the design work that's involved with creating shawls that are new and different. Yeah, I like it all, but my favorite thing are sweaters.
And what weight yarn do you like the most? Is there a favorite?
Boy. I am a little impatient, so I like worsted weight the best. Yeah, worsted is my happy spot. DK is good too for me. Love chunky, but yeah, kind of that vicinity. Anywhere from DK to chunky are my happy places. You will rarely see me working on a sport weight or fingering weight sweater unless I'm doubling the yarn. But yeah, that's my happy place.
And see, we're in a different weather, so fingering is going to be, usually my go-to because I'm so hot-natured anyway. Or sport, I'll do that as well.
Yeah.
But I have found when you double up with slubby, it's not so bad.
No,
it's not as hard as that. But I think the quickness and the texture and all that would be awesome, and quick, so to speak. So. Well, speaking of designs and a sweater. Don't you have something to share? I see something beautiful.
I
in the
do.
background.
And Debbie asked in the chat, what's my favorite design so far? If you mean of my own, that is a hard one. It's always the last one I've designed. So that would be this one. So still on topic, it's the last one that I've designed. So my newest design is Blend, and it is a cardigan sweater made in seams with pockets, yay. And it is so fun. You work 2 strands of fingering weight together to create your very own blend of yarn. So this is the sweater here. I used a strand of like easy to buy like Barocco socks with a strand of Keith's orchid color, one of his orchid colors. So this was a really fun knit. I love set-in sleeves. I love seaming. I'm a bit weird that way. I really like sweaters that have structure and seams. I know the trend right now is a lot of top down, a lot of seamless pieces. The one I'm wearing under it is actually seamless. Now and again, I'll do a seamless piece, but I do like the structure. Yes, this one is, you'll have to forgive me. I forget the names of my patterns. I will think of it in a minute. Something plumosa tea.
Oh, okay, that's pretty.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun too. So it's kind of similar lace patterns that get expanded and contracted. So,
And what's that made out of?
this was a Barocco linen blend. Out of
Okay.
course, I'm forgetting the name of, but this is a DK weight.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but
I
it's a
love
linen
t-shirts.
blend, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a.
Yeah, it's a bit lighter. It's got good drape, so this is a nice one. But yeah, Blend, speaking of Blend, this is the sweater that is my new favorite, my current favorite.
Well, I think happiness would look beautiful with that too.
Yes, I was thinking happiness with one of Keith's orchid colors would be phenomenal. This one looks kind of cool because the Barocco socks has that self-stripe action going on. And a few
Yeah.
of my test knitters use self-striping yarn as one of their strands, and it was phenomenal.
I
the
wonder,
sweater.
unique fingering might work as well. I carry that, which is a self-striping type yarn. And that, because it's a fingering and you hold 2 together. So
Bingo, to get more of a worsted weight, a light
Yeah.
worsted. Yeah.
now, did you attach the
So
collar, or what is that, a band? Yes.
you knit it, you pick it up and knit it off. So you make 5 pieces for the sweater, the back, the 2 fronts, and the sleeves. The pockets are set in. So you knit the patch pocket, or you knit the lining. And then when you get to the spot in the sweater where the pocket is to be attached, you knit across just the lining stitches and leave the sweater stitches on hold. And I have a whole tutorial video for that. Anyway, so you put together all of the 5 pieces, and then starting at the bottom, you pick up stitches all the way around the sweater and knit until the collar is the size that you want it.
Okay.
So, or what I recommended in the pattern, of course.
You put it all in the pattern. You have all your tutorials.
Exactly.
You don't leave us hanging, that's for sure.
No. I like to provide. I think it's important. And with my background as a knitting teacher, I often try to think of the challenges my students encounter when they're reading patterns when I'm writing my own patterns, so that I can anticipate sort of, oh, what's going to trip people up about this technique? Is it something that requires a video, or can I just explain it in a different way that will help them understand what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I use that.
Very
I use that a lot to my experience there. But
cool. So how many are you constantly designing? I mean, do you have something in your head like
all the time?
Okay.
Yeah, and actually my design book is in the other room. I keep it on my nightstand. I usually have my best thoughts right before bed. And, I know if I don't jot them down and sketch something out, I'll forget about it immediately or by the next day. So I've taken to, as soon as the light bulb goes off in my brain, the light bulb goes off in my bedside, my nightside table, and I get out the sketchbook and I just start playing around and sketching. So anytime I'm feeling like, oh, I'd like to do something new, I'll pull out my sketchbook and see what, midnight me was thinking of.
So do you have an artistic background?
I've always been very artistic. I've always enjoyed doing art, and I've been very creative. My mom is an incredible fiber artist and does it all, like spinning, weaving, dyeing. Like she's always had, that's always been going on and been a part of my life when I was growing up. So I think it just is ingrained in me. But yes, I would say I'm fairly creative. When I was a kid, I wanted to do fashion design. I wanted to be a math teacher. I wanted to be a teacher. There were so many things I wanted to do that my job now combines all of those things. So I'm living a lot of my childhood dreams right now. It's very cool.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is.
You get to do what you love.
Yes, for sure.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, you know, that's what I think about. You go to sleep, but I do the same thing, just thinking of ideas. I have to dump it before I
Yes.
go to bed, do a brain dump, because I'll sit there and think about it all night long. And then
Same.
I'll forget in the morning what I even thought about. So yeah,
Yes.
I agree. You need to have something by your bedside to do that. That's important.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
these ideas kind of come in and they flow out. So
Yes. Well, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that you do it too, Angie.
I mean, horrible. I mean, and
So
sometimes I have to walk around with, I told myself I needed to get a, really, well, now that we have the phones, but I can remember before the phones, you know, I needed to record things, because as I was driving, I was thinking I was having to drive, you know, a commute to work. And God, the best ideas are coming when you're driving down the road.
Yes.
So finally I was, you know, at least you can record yourself now, but it's kind of fun. So
That is
but
cool.
cool.
So did Purl the yarn bust come to you in a dream? Did it come to you in one of your, you know, one of the ideas that you had to jot down?
She was, you know, I've always, you know, my background is I have been a commercial banker for 43 years. So I have always worked with businesses, but I've always wanted my own. And I've tried little things here and there, but I love knitting. And I just thought I just wanted to do something. You can write the patterns, because you mentioned the word math, and that, and, you know, even though I'm a banker, that's not my thing. And dyeing, I'll let Keith do that. That's just too much work. And he does, you know, everybody else does beautiful. I'll represent and share all the beauties. But I don't know. I just, it can't, I didn't want to own a brick and mortar. I knew that. And so it was a 10-year dream, I think. And when I finally did it, people were telling me constantly, stop talking about it and go buy a vehicle. And because you can't do it unless you have a vehicle. So I, you know, searched around and just got something quick that I could get it opened. And you know, now I'd like to update this and that. No, it's the beauty is inside. I'm not worried about what I mean. The outside works, and I can go everywhere I want. So, but my goal was just to bring the I wanted people to touch and feel. Yes, you can buy things online, but even though even me buying yarn for the bus, sometimes I don't get what I think I'm getting, because the colors are off, or, you know, the feel's not there. So I usually try to sample it. But
Yeah.
I use everything in here. I pretty much have knit with before, so I kind of knew. But once you get to know what I have, you know, then we can do online. But, you know, I just wanted people to smell it and touch it. And
I'm a yarn sniffer. I'm definitely a yarn sniffer.
Every time I open a new box, it's like
that woolly goodness, or the, you know, the silk smell, or yeah, it's so funny. I do it too.
Yeah. I don't know, and it's so sometimes it's embarrassing because I forget and I smell it, and people are probably looking at me on the, you know, video or what. Oh, it's just natural to do that. So, but anyway,
I can relate. So
exactly.
maybe there's something in our wiring. Who knows?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, you have a few other things behind you too. You've got a lot of stuff. So I mean,
a lot of
collaborate with people as well.
What's that? Oh,
do you collaborate with a lot of designers?
Yeah, well, mostly with Keith right now. I helped, we started, not we, he wanted to learn to dye, and he was a couple years ago, and I went down to Florida, not that I know how to dye, but I went down to Florida to play with him for a weekend, and it was a lot of fun. We dyed lots of yarn. In fact,
that's amazing. That's right. He's only been doing it 2 years, and you would think he's been doing it.
I know, the way he dyes is really amazing. So this one here, this was one of the colors I dyed when I was with him. I'm holding it together here with a mohair. But this is a design I did for Chelsea Yarns called Material Girl.
Oh,
And it is
yeah.
very popular. This one is in a fingering weight as well. So this is the DK version where I held 2 strands together, a la me. But I did also write it for fingering weight. So we got together and dyed. And so I think since I was with him when the company kind of really started forming, most of my work with hand dye has been with his yarns, but I do knit with other yarns and I try to reach out to other companies, but it's just so easy with Keith and his yarns are so beautiful. Like but I'll show you, this is beautiful. I don't know if you carry Blue Fiber Company, but I worked up the brioche ponchette is in Blue Fiber Company's Cashmerino DK, which is luscious. And this is just a little ponchette, but I was in Seattle last week, or not last week, a few weeks ago. I was in Minnesota last week. When I was in Seattle, I had this piece with me because I was teaching a brioche class. And one of the students said, "Oh, I thought that was a skirt." So I put it on as a skirt. It was so cool as a skirt. I'm not going to do it today because
Really?
the hips, but I'll put it on as this. Yeah. So this is how it's intended to be worn. However, at the show, I did pull it down and this part is too tight for a skirt. I think if I were to do it as a skirt, I would cast on the first increase amount and then just work down from there. But it was really cool. It was a neat idea. And that's what I love about classes and these interviews and things like that, is that people say things to me about my designs or about certain yarns that just like, oh, what a great idea. Like I should make a skirt pattern. I should do this. I should do that. Yeah. So
Do you still do a lot of, have you started back in person? You do in person now?
I do in person. So I have a beautiful front porch. And I had a lesson out there today with some lovely students. And I've been getting out in person I did Vogue Knitting Live in Seattle 3 weeks ago. This past weekend, I was at the Minnesota Yarn Guild's big event, Yarn Over it's called, and it was wonderful. Such lovely people. And I've got Vogue in New York coming up. So I've been getting out there and getting around, which is nice.
But you had to go to Zoom. Were you doing Zoom or anything before
I
COVID?
wasn't.
Okay.
I was not. And when everything first started happening in 2020, where we were realizing more and more like, oh, this might be longer than what we're thinking, and people were getting a little stir crazy, a friend of mine suggested that I do like a hangout on Zoom or a hangout on one of these platforms. I think I tried Google or something.
Yeah.
And so it started there. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm a little shy in general, like I'm not, or I shouldn't say shy. I'm not always shy, but I'm a little reserved at first when I don't know who I'm talking to or what I'm doing, but it was just so natural. It felt good on the Zoom. It felt good doing this stuff and being able to connect with people virtually, at least, even though we were all.
I think you have good presence and you do really well. And just like Keith too. And I mentioned Keith only because I've taken one of his, obviously, on Zoom, and I've taken him in person. And although I love to see him in person, I love having that front row seat at the Zoom, and he and you both are able to show and make people understand. You don't have to go over there and take the, and show them in person. You can do it so well, and you explain everything so well. So that's nice.
Thank you. Well, I thought an interesting thing at these events I've been teaching in person this month, I asked a lot of the students that were coming to the classes, did you do any Zoom classes over the last couple of years? And they were like, no, we didn't. We're just coming back to knitting now. I think a lot of people really like that in-person thing. And then a lot of people were able to do the Zoom and get so much out of it. And what I started doing now at these last 2 workshops, these last 2 events that I did, I brought my computer and my overhead camera, and I had a projector in the room. So I was still showing people everything live, the same way They could see my hands. It was like a genius way to combine the two, where everyone could see exactly what I was doing, and I was able to go around the room and check in. So that was a really good way to do it, I think.
That's very cool.
So,
That's important. And
yeah,
some of the folks, that they gave it one try, maybe some of those that don't think they could learn, might. So, I mean, because
exactly.
it's so handy. I mean, so many people look at YouTube and can do that. I want to be able to talk. That's the only thing I want. I want to be able to ask questions.
Of
And
course.
so Zoom and in person to me work really well. So
Yeah.
that's really good. So someone asked me if I come down to Dade County. And is that in Florida? I don't know. I can't.
Oh, Liz.
Who asked me that?
It is. It is in Florida.
It's Miami, isn't it?
Yes, it's in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, too far.
Oh, well.
But
I came in a little late, so I don't know where you're located.
I'm in Georgia. So
Oh,
what I'll end up doing.
So far.
Well, for Purl it would be, because as much as she is beautiful, she is a rough ride. And I took her down to Lakeland in March of 20,
Mhm.
right before the whole thing fell out. 8-hour drive. Now,
Oh, yeah.
mind me, I've only been open since the September 19, so I was just eager to get going and meet people. And it was a great event. I met a lot of folks and it was worth my time. But I had to think about that because my hands were cramped up, and because I'm holding the steering wheel really tight, because she's a 450. She's a heavy truck. So and I'm sitting there trying to look out everywhere. So 4 hours is about all I can go before I go bonkers. But we could all, I'm starting to get my own. That's my thing, is getting an online shop better. I didn't want to do that because I wanted people to touch, but
Yeah, that's what we miss. I can't believe that we had like 6 or 7 shops, and little by little by little, and I don't even know why the last one closed. I don't want to say that it was necessarily COVID. It was just, we're closing in 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly.
So,
But you can always, contact me. We can do a virtual. I have no problem doing that. So I do Zoom meeting or Zoom shopping all the time, or what do you call it? FaceTime shopping. But thanks for the question. I know that Debbie, I think, asked if you would.
I saw that, yes. So I wanted to talk about that, about the pooling. That would be so fun to do a hat with the pooling yarn. I'd have to play with his yarn and see if it would work out for the number of stitches that one needs for yarns to line up. Yes, that math that we love. But yeah, I would love to play with that. I think a while back I had done a ribbed hat that ended up pooling. Maybe that's the way to go with Keith's yarn. So yeah, for those of you who are not reading the chat, the question from Debbie was, would you be able to work with Keith to design a hat to go with his pooling yarn? So another piece I should mention is what pooling yarn is.
Perfect segue.
So there are a few different ways yarn can pool. I don't have my tie-dyed yarn that I make. I don't have my hat. Anyway, there are a couple ways that yarn can pool. If you have a yarn exactly like what Angie's holding there, where the yarn is dyed in segments of color, if you knit at a certain number of stitches and get the colors to match up, you can almost get a tie-dye vibe, like a tie-dye situation happening. Let me show you, actually, I think I can pull up a picture.
Keith did my colorway, he did my colorway. So what he did, these are all my logo colors. So he put them in this, but he did the pooling for the class that we're going to have out of this. So it's mostly this magenta and then all the other colors.
Love the yellow.
Yellow and the pinks and the blues and the purples. So that's going to be cool, but it's worsted too. So
yes, worsted. But yeah, I would love to do something with Keith for a hat. I do enjoy designing hats. And here we go. So I'll show. So this is yarn I tie-dyed. I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is yarn that I tie-dyed a while back when I was doing that. And the number of stitches that I have on this baby hat allows the yarn to repeat itself in this. All the color lines up with one another. The colors line up. So that's what one method of pooling is, where the number of stitches you have determines where the colors from your skein land. Another method that's been very cool lately, very fun, is this assigned pooling, where you get a skein of yarn that's, in this case, mostly navy blue, and then has the splash of pink in it, maybe like 16 inches of pink on the big skein. And anytime I get to the pink, I do this really neat stitch, which I called the crosshatch stitch. Oh, Debbie, if you've got your piece, that would be great. Debbie said she's got a piece of Keith's finishing. I'm just looking for you, Debbie. Hang on one sec. We can add you in. Let me see, where'd you go? Uh-oh. I found you. Okay. Here we go. Fabulous. Yeah, so Debbie's got a sample she's holding up right now. Very cool. I love that. That's the pool party. That's the Cabana Boy color. Guess who named that color? He was like, Shaina, what should I name my pool party color? I was like, Cabana Boy, obviously.
He said you named it, so he did give you credit for that. So
But finally, for once, he gave me credit for something.
Can she hold it up again?
Yeah, hold it up so
Sure.
the gang can see.
Sure.
So what we're gonna do, if anyone is interested, on June 25th, which is a Saturday, from 10 to noon, we're gonna have a pool party class, and Keith's gonna teach exactly what that is, what she did, but we're gonna use the colorway that he did for me. And it's on my website, and I'll put it in the chat, but I think I'll put it in the chat. I don't know. We'll see. But you can go to my website and you can sign up for it if you're interested. And the yarn comes with it, and I just mail you the yarn. There's no homework or anything like that. But it's kind of, Debbie said it was a great class, and I think it will be fun to learn. I've not done it before. I've just done the assigned pooling, so I'm real curious about that.
Yeah,
myself.
that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, and you
Angie's
said,
color is fabulous too.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's
gosh, it's
already got my
fabulous.
colors,
Yes.
so the real pooling one. So that's
very
cool.
nice. Well, and thank you also, Debbie, for coming in and showing us the piece. It is beautiful, and I love your crafting room as well.
Oh.
As Claire said.
She's
Thank
got her own
you.
bus. It's just not. She's got her own
Thanks.
bus, but it ain't on wheels.
Yeah, I like the way it forms that little zigzag in one area. And that just, I thought that would be really cool on a hat, just to do that.
Definitely, yes. I'm going to process and think. I have a skein of Cabana Boy, so
I don't know that it would work with Cabana Boy because of the way you have to do the math, and I think there's too many stitches in
Okay.
between. But you know, you may be able to. He may have to do something a little different with it. But you know what? That's for you guys to figure out. You may
See
be
how
able
my
to figure
designer
out
brain
a way
works.
to
I'm
do
sitting
it.
here
I don't know.
with
That's your
numbers rolling in my head. Yeah. If you don't mind my asking, how many stitches were on your cowl?
I want to say I had, and this won't make sense to anybody until they take the class, but I want to say I had 27 stitches in between the start of each color, if
Okay.
that makes sense. So in other words, 27 stitches from like this part here to, no, I had this part here to this part here. I'm putting I had 20, no, that doesn't sound right.
That's okay.
Something,
I'll play around. I'll play with my
something
skein.
like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but you know, but this is, and I used a size 7, and so this is obviously way too big for a hat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
Gotcha. All right,
anyway,
well,
and I doubled it,
I'll
whatever I did. 27 doesn't sound right. It was more than that. I can count right here, actually.
yeah, it has to be more than 27 from like one start to the next
Yeah,
start, but
yeah.
that's all right. I'll
Yeah.
play. Just curious if you knew offhand, but no.
No,
worries.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
know with everyone you have to do it just because
Yeah.
there's, you know, nothing is the same. So, but I'm
Well-
putting an I-cord edge on this because I wanted to keep it from curling, and so
That's a
Keith
good idea.
Keith dyed the color for me to match it.
That's so good. But I love using hand-dyed yarns and especially Keith's yarns to create new designs. So over the last 2 years since Keith has been dyeing and I've been doing design with him, I've come up with a lot of really fun patterns, if I do say so myself, one of which is the splatter paint wrap. And I love this one because, so we're talking here a little bit about yarn pooling. In this case, Keith's yarn, the happiness, is this outrageously multicolored yarn, like super multicolored. Yeah, and Angie's got kits at thetravelingyarnyogi.com. But it's
I
super
love
multicolored. It's a great
Happiness is
yarn.
the greatest color.
I know, and the name alone, right? So the thing, it's so heavily multicolored that you want to come up with a project for these yarns that really let those colors bounce and play with each other. So
I don't know how I miss Splatter because I that's my shape as well.
yes, I love a parallelogram. Math. But I love the points at the bottom of this shawl. It's worked on the bias. So you're increasing on one side, decreasing on the other. That's how you get the stitches to go at an angle. So even though I'm wearing it straight on the sides, the stitches are at an angle. And I chose stitches that would really highlight the yarn, where within each little bubble of this stitch, you're only getting a color or two. So you can really see the depth of all the different colors. And same as this pattern here and this one here. So, and I've got tutorial videos for all of these. I've done lots of knit alongs with it. This has been one of my most popular patterns, the splatter paint wrap. Yeah, and with Keith's
I don't know
yarns.
how I missed it. That's
Well,
because
I know.
it's perfect because it does highlight the yarn and it's gorgeous. So
Yeah. And
but
it's
now,
just
I won't miss it now. It'll be on my needles very soon. So
so yeah, it's the three patterns, the bubbles, the stars, and the mesh repeated over and over. So once you get in the hang of it, it's
okay.
yeah. So Gabriella's asking, is it slip stitch? This one here does use a slip stitch in it, but it's also a gathered stitch. And this one here is a lacy stitch, so yarn overs. And then this one here is a star stitch pattern, where you work into one stitch 5 times and do a lot of other stuff. So it's not a lot of slip stitching, but I do have tutorials for all of these. You can catch them on my YouTube channel. They're there. So if you want to familiarize yourself with the stitches first, go for it. My favorite element of this design is, well, other than it looking beautiful, is the fact that all the tails are held in this I-cord edging. So you don't even have to cut your yarn. You can carry it up the side of the work in the I-cord edging. So right in here, so here it's, I guess we can kind of
I love
see it.
I-cord edging.
Right in this I-cord edging, I'm carrying up the yarn from here to here till my next multicolor area. So I wasn't sitting there like a maniac cutting my yarn, weaving in ends, cutting my yarn, weaving in ends. It all got trapped inside the I-cord. When I figured that out for myself with this, I think I ran around the room with excitement because weaving in tails is my least favorite thing to do, least favorite. Yeah, so so that's a fun thing that you'll see on this too. Gabriella, no, this is not color work. You're only just doing, you're working stitch, how do I want to say this? You're working patterns in the stitches that do not require 2 colors at the same time. You're only working 1 color at a time, and you're manipulating, there's the word I was looking for, manipulating the stitches to create the different textures. So this one, it's like a matter of working knit yarn over knit on one row and then purling the 3 together on the next. So it is a lot of maneuvering, but it's not color work technically. Yeah, it's more of a stripe with texture. So this was one that I came up with for Keith and myself, of course. And then another one I did for him and me. Again, I just love his yarn, so it brings me lots of inspiration. The same thing here with his yarn. Since it's so vibrantly multicolored, I want to separate it and kind of let the colors show. So with this design, also a parallelogram, or maybe this one's a trapezoid technically. Trapezoid? Well, who knows? Four-sided, has points at the ends. I don't know for sure. I didn't lay it out recently to know. But this one's very cool because you're only working garter stitch stripes where you've got 2 out of 6 rows being in your multicolor. So it really lets his colors shine through. And it looks
Is that
phenomenal in solids. What's that?
Is that worsted or fingering?
Fingering as well. And it's the 3 skeins, same as splatter paint, but here I used all 3 were separate colors. So it was a white, 1 gray, and 1 happiness.
And what's that called?
This one,
Ha ha ha. I knew
it's
it.
called, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I wonder if it's like an early, I don't know. What
Happiness? Is it happiness?
the yarn is happiness. Yes. The pattern prismatic. There we go. I had to look on my Ravelry page. Is that embarrassing?
No,
I'm
not so many patterns.
names of things and names of people. It's really not good. So yes, that was that one is prismatic wrap, the prismatic wrap, and it's done modularly. So you actually start off by knitting a little mini shawl. So imagine if this gray was its very own shawl.
Yeah.
Then you knit another shawl. So 2 separate shawls. And then you work off of 2 halves of the shawl to decrease down this 3rd shawl.
Wow.
So it's worked, you're combining the pieces together to make, so there's no seaming, but it's pretty fun that way. So a new technique perhaps to learn. if
Yeah.
you haven't done that. But so those are a couple of the Keith projects. I have a new sweater I'm working on that I'm pretty excited about. And it is just so simple and cozy and easy. This one is a cotton linen blend, worsted weight. And it's a drop shoulder with just simple shaping, shoulder shaping, all that. And just an easy pull on, pull over.
Perfect.
So, and then I have another piece I'm working on right now.
Yeah,
Another
I knew.
I mean, it's terrible. I've got bags and bags of projects that I just like, things just come to me. So I've got
awesome.
another sweater. It's going to be my plan is to sell it in a sense as your first sweater. So if people are afraid of knitting sweaters, this one is going to come in lots of sizes. It's very simple. The back is just a rectangle. Front has a little neck shaping that I'll have photo tutorials for. And then drop shoulder sleeves. So it's a very simple shaped sweater with seams, but I'm going to have videos for all the seams, the tutorial for the neckline, how to pick up stitches tutorial, that kind of stuff. So my hope is that people will start to feel a little less afraid of knitting sweaters. So that's that sweater. And then I have another design that this might appeal to you, Angie, because it is fingering weight. This one I actually knit last year and I need to reknit it in my own size. This is a little small for me, but it's just a simple t-shirt that's made with rectangles. And then you pick up and knit at the bottom a little ribbing.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
So again, it's just a little, here I have a tank top on. Let me.
So it's brand new?
This one, oh yeah, I knit it last year and then I haven't done anything with it because the size I made was a little too small for me.
Okay.
Definitely it shrunk, definitely. I didn't get any bigger.
That's right.
But yeah, it's just not, it's
block
meant
it
more,
up enough.
yeah, better for a small than whatever I've got going on here, but you get the idea. So my plan is to make it, yeah, my plan is to make it again in a size that I will actually wear. This one's just too fitted for me, but it's fun. It's worked sideways actually. So you cast on over here, work across this way. And then I left
have
stitches.
seen several sweaters like that I wanted to try because I thought that would be a nice, I don't know, just something silhouette. I don't know, just nice shaping, I guess the lengthening of it or something, kind of like stripes going. I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah, this gives you more of like a vertical stripe.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It's very cool. Oh, and I see, Melissa, I see your hand up. Do you have a question? No. Okay, gotcha. Liz, that pattern is not available yet, but if you're interested in test knitting it, once I get my knit up, I can, oh yeah, and Angie too, I will get the pattern going, and then you can test knit it for sure. I would love to have some test knitters. So I do have a mailing list sign up on my website. And when you sign up for my mailing list, you can opt into the test knitters list too. Or you can just email me and say, hey, put me on your test knitter list, and I'll do that. But yeah, so that one's a fun one. I really should explore it more. Maybe I'll work on that in the coming weeks. I'm always a season off. I'm always like a little off.
Well, I am too. It took, last year I didn't have anything for, linen or anything in the bus because I wasn't sure. I'm limited space, so I try really hard to. Well, this year I got all this linen and because everybody wanted it last year. Now I'm like, okay,
All the linen.
got it. Let's get rolling.
Which one did you get? Which linen did you?
Euroflex.
Lovely.
Yes,
I have like 6 skeins here.
The lady who purchased it from Louette is in South Carolina.
Oh, that's so cool.
We met at a event in February, so it was pretty cool. Because I've heard of Euroflex all my knitting years, but I didn't realize that she had bought the company. So
I didn't know that either. I thought it just went by the wayside with Louette.
No, and it's and she explained how all the colors are the same the last 20 years. And I actually got several different batches, and they are. It's like the mill has just really done a very good job of consistency.
Oh, that's so nice to know they're still going. Okay, because I have 6 skeins of the most beautiful pink that I was meaning to knit a dress out of. So maybe I'll actually do that. Donna had a quick question, and then I would love if you would take us on a tour of Purl.
Sure, but I gotta share this. This is the only one I test knitted for you.
I love it.
Keep saying it right. It's classic adult or basic adult.
Basic adult poncho. Yes.
Poncho. I get more asked about this, and I wear it all the time. And I just loved it. So I thank you for letting me test it because
of course
it's just been a wonderful piece to wear all the time. So in the fall, now I'm not going to wear it now for sure, but I'm too hot nature. But thank you for that. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And people really love it. And then they get it and they want to do ones for their grandchildren or,
yes,
or their child. So it's like a cool mother-daughter, whatever.
So sweet. So Angie knit my Angie. Oh yeah, can you model it, Angie? And
no.
I have mine. I will model mine.
I'm not sure. I have one of those. Okay, my Great Pyrenees. Got it. Got a hold of it.
Oh no.
You can't see it, but that's how I know that's the back.
So I have a basic children's poncho that is very popular on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. Oh, Angie, yay. And people loved it so much and kept asking for an adult poncho pattern that I finally did it. So this one comes in 3 yarn weights. You can knit it in DK worsted or this, which is chunky because again, I like fast knits. But yeah, Angie's is the worsted weight using Slubby Dubby held together with fingering. And Slubby Dubby is Keith's yarn.
Isn't it DK?
Was it technically? Oh, you're right. Yeah, it would technically be the DK. Yes. Sorry. So this is the poncho. Here, I'll kind of like do that.
I'm not great at modeling these things. Somehow
it looks good. I like it with the polka dot shirt actually underneath. That's very cool.
It comes down to my. Look, you can't see. Almost.
I know mine either. I was trying to. Maybe if we turn it
I just use the yarn up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's a fun piece. It's easy, and it's got shoulder shaping which the children's poncho does not. Yeah,
that's the key because now you can still do everything you want to do with your hands.
Yes,
and it's not riding up.
Yeah, and you don't have this goofy little weird neck thing happening, which sometimes happens with straight shaping up at the top. So yeah, it's really a fun, nice piece.
Okay, I'm hot.
Georgia, there you go.
What's the name of it again? The pattern.
The basic adult poncho. So if you go to my Ravelry page, you'll see one of my most popular patterns is the basic children's poncho. I wonder if I linked the adult poncho. That would be like a wise thing to do with the children's poncho.
I don't know if you did or not. I can't say I remember.
I don't think I linked
I
it
just know
today.
that I can't ever remember. Classic or basic? Classic or basic? So I tell people to look at both of them.
Yeah,
Is
fortunately,
that garter stitch or stockinette?
stockinette. Here, I'll come a little closer.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so stockinette with a nice increased line. And then I leave it open-ended, whatever you want to do for the borders. And I give you examples of different stitch patterns to use on the borders.
Oh, I did a little seed stitch thing.
Yeah, and I did rib on mine. Let's show yours, Angie.
Yeah.
then-
let's see.
And then Donna was asking about my new cardigan too. So I'll just mention that again since it's so
Oh,
fresh.
wait a minute. Let me put this back so I don't
Here we go.
cause problems.
Oh, this, Donna, is my new cardigan. This one's called Blend. And what I did for it was I held together oh yeah, and there's Angie's edging. It's so pretty with the seed because it just makes that texture pop even more. And actually, I didn't try this on before. So thank you for asking, Donna, because now I'm trying it on so everyone can see. I love this sweater. I love it. I wore it all weekend in Minnesota when I was teaching. But it's 2 strands of fingering weight held together to create more of a DK like worsted weight. And I used a strand of my friend Keith's one of his orchid colorways, along with a strand of Barocco socks. So that kind of rainbow look that you get going through here with the black and white is part of the Barocco socks, but the overall look of the sweater being very pinky and peachy comes from
It's
Keith's
beautiful.
yarn.
It's really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I like the pockets too.
I highly recommend checking out the what people have made on Ravelry for it. You know what? I'll pull that up because it is
I can
so
pull it. What's the name of it
Would
again?
look good.
blend.
Blend.
Yep. And really my test knitters knocked it out of the park as usual, right? Angie was a test knitter once or twice or thrice. But here we go. I'll just show you. Like, I love this one. All leftovers and odds and ends of sock
Wow.
yarn. So you get one phenomenal color from Angie, and then you use up lots of odds and ends of other colors. Oh, this person's was really cool too. Here we go.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
that's pretty.
Isn't that amazing? With one, so these were the rainbow sock yarns or fingering weights, and then other colors were held throughout. It's just so fun to put together the colors. So anyway, I
Think
hope
love would look good with it.
which one? Slubda? Oh my,
Slubby?
yes, actually, one of my students, one of my test knitters was using slub.
Did they?
Right
Okay,
there.
cool.
Yep.
I just love slub.
Yes, me too. I know. I love
I
that
do too.
texture.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've got to have a yarn. We've got to have a tour of the yarn bus.
Okay. All right. So let's, like a phone, you can just whip it around. I don't think I can do that with the laptop, but let me see if I can. Let me get back here.
This is so cool. You're living the dream, Angie.
No, I don't know about that.
Yarn on
But
wheels.
She is kind of in mode to, she's not really set up for the show or anything right this minute. In other words, so I have all those totes back there and I can't carry them. So I step them under the bus when I'm at some place and I leave that open for people. So I don't know if you can see that. So,
Yeah.
And then my dad built all the cubbies. He's 83 and he's told me that was the last project he would ever do. So I said, okay. So when I said, oh, can you do, no, I cannot do anything else for that bus. I said, okay. So anyway, but then I have, okay, I've got, and it was a mobility bus. So I have all these, you see all these things.
Oh, perfect.
Come in handy when I'm riding so I can put all the samples.
Yeah,
You know,
built-in
wow.
hanger pole.
And that's my Labine wall, Labine.
Wow, beautiful.
And so then I've got a lot of storage back here, or a lot of hanging here.
Oh my gosh.
Now I have like bright colors.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And
So I
that's
try to use every little inch. I've even got the windows. I've stuck the patterns, the suction cups on the windows.
Gotcha.
So, I try. There's a few other things I want to do, but I, I'd love to get new flooring and all that. But then I have to show off this little thing because people always comment. Let's see. Can you see my fuzzy dice? with their yarn
Yarn
balls.
balls. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That
And
is
then I have
adorable.
a collection. So if anyone has stickers they want to send me,
Oh my gosh.
this is where they go. Because this is all white up here and I'm trying to fill all that space. So I have all kinds of stickers. So
There was this, so when I was in Seattle at Vogue Live, there was this really neat yarn store that had tons of gorgeous stickers, and I bought a bunch. They had so many. It was something like orchid yarn or something. Their logo is an orchid, and I remember they gave me an orchid sticker and I gave it to Keith because it's like an orchid with yarn, but I think it's orchid yarn. But yeah, like the pizza hanging out with the yarn.
I love that.
So, all right, we got to get them to send you some stickers or something because they had some really cool ones. And this one I really love too. It's like the earth with
Oh, I love that.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, they just have to be here. And of course, this one here.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it's fun. But so there was a question from Camille. Will you be in New Jersey for Angie? No, Angie's bus only goes within 4 hours of Georgia.
But I am going to drive to Rhinebeck this year and be at Cake Palooza. Not the bus. But I'm bringing some of my yarn that I'm bringing Keith's yarn, but I'm also bringing Emma's, I think, too. So a couple of yarns that are been really special to me on the bus, I'm going to bring and just set up a pop-up shop and, tell people about what I do. And because I met a lot of folks from Georgia there at Rhinebeck last year that didn't know anything about me. So it's kind of funny how you'll meet all kinds of folks. So it'll be fun.
For sure. I mean, the yarn bus, if Purl could get up there, it would be like the hugest hit. But I know.
He tells me if I could get up there. So I told him, I said, well, if someone would follow me, just in case.
with the tow truck, just in case. Maybe
I have to
tow
get
the whole way up.
I'm not leaving her on the road. That's for dang I'm sure.
No,
but,
whoa. I mean, yeah, that's, oh my gosh, it's like a gorgeous yarn hoard.
I know. Most people would walk right by it, but I think others there'll be some.
Yeah, knitters. No, we would stop. We would definitely. I'd be all over that. And actually, someone asked before if I have a favorite sweater, and I do have one that I turn to a lot and wear quite often, and that's this one. It's the River Cable pullover. I was showing it off today for a class I taught. But I love this one. It just occurred to me because it's sitting right here. I wear it so much. It is so comfortable. It's beautiful. It's got these awesome cables, a funnel neck. And my favorite element of this was the 2 exterior cables come around the side of the neck and across the back. And then I have a cable going down the sleeve too. So this is one that I really do love. I would probably knit this one again. I would probably knit this one again. Yeah, I think my test of whether or not I love a sweater is whether I'll knit it again. And actually, yeah, my Moxie sweater, this one here.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Also one I would knit again. Yeah, it's sweaters. My favorites are sweaters for sure. But yeah, and usually it has to do with color or the way it feels on my body when I wear it. But yeah, the River Cable pullover is one I'm very proud of because I ripped out that neck so many times trying to figure out what I should actually do with it. Do I just end it? Do I and then when it clicked to do that sort of necklace of the cable around, it was just one of those moments again where I feel like I probably ran around the room shouting hooray, so.
I would, because that's amazing. I just see, I don't understand how, well, that's your mind, not mine, but I can't. That's why sometimes when I'm reading a pattern, if I swear it might be real common, but if I can't visualize how it's gonna do, I get stuck and I have to keep. But I am one that believes just read the pattern, and to do what it says. But when you're test knitting, sometimes I have learned, because I'm new at this, that might not be the case. Sometimes you might have to kind of help a little bit so you understand it. But anyway.
Yeah, sometimes when I send patterns to test knitters, it hasn't gone through my rigorous review, and sometimes a little bit of math is off and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it's for test knitting, yeah, you have to be a smidge more, I like that communication, and it also helps me figure out better ways to write my patterns. And I will put up, because I know a couple of you have to head off, I'm putting up my contact info in the chat, so you can find me on Facebook, join my Ravelry group, all that stuff, my YouTube channel, but please join my mailing list, because you'll get information about everywhere I'm teaching and my new designs, and then you can purchase yarn from Angie
You
from
get
the yarn
codes,
bus.
you get codes to get discounts on your patterns when you
Yeah,
when you
exactly,
do
yes.
the newsletter. I'm on there. But I'll put my info on there too, because I'd love for you guys to follow me as well. And if you have any questions, just call me, or if you saw anything you like, just like I said, not everything I talked about tonight is on the website. But if there's something you saw me when you were floating around, just call me or email me, and I'll be glad to help you. So
There's such beautiful
Shaina,
yarns.
thank you so
It's a reason
much.
I think there's a reason now to travel down to Georgia, just to
Yes,
meet you
yes.
somewhere. Yeah. And
Let's go a knit weekend and go play.
yes,
That would be fun.
such a
I have to
beautiful,
get you to come and do a class.
that would be amazing. Yes,
Oh yes, that will be okay.
we will do that
That's my
100%.
plan. Okay.
Yes. Oh my
But
gosh.
thank you guys for everything, for coming. Thank you, Shaina, for having it sent out today, and for me to meet so many new people. And but love you, girl. And
I love you
can't
too.
wait to see
Thank you.
And we'll see each other this year for sure in
Yes,
person.
we'll hang at Rhinebeck. I'll try to come up for the cake. We'll
Okay.
and then, but definitely I'll see you at Rhinebeck at some point.
We'll keep in touch.
I'll be the one eating with
Yes.
yarn under my arm. Yeah, that's me.
That works real well with me too. So
That's my
I learned
MO.
all your tricks. That's for sure.
This
Angie,
was
did
such
you
a
put your
treat.
info on the chat?
Oh, yeah, we're still on the chat. Is everyone
No,
okay?
did Angie put her stuff on the chat?
Oh,
Not yet.
you
I'm
gotta put
fixing
your
to.
contact. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me put it down
Okay.
here.
So the
Because I
traveling.
can't type upstairs. So let's see. I'm learning. Shaina taught me a lot tonight. This is Darn Yogi. She types fast too. So that's Facebook. I don't know if I'm doing that right. So that's Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And then the travelingyogi.com is my website, right?
The travelingyarnyogi.com. Hold on. All right. Let me just make sure here.
And then
Got that one. Okay.
and then I was gonna say, and then it's all, I finally got it all under the Traveling Yarn Yogi. You can do at gmail.com
Okay.
if you need to email me. But absolutely.
Awesome. Here, I'm gonna, let's see if this, yeah, this will give the HTTPS, so you can just click right on there.
You're so darn good.
I know,
See?
so I realized this, Angie. Yeah, if you do the HTTPS or whatever with the /, etc., then it actually links it for people.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
you got it. And if you do more, well, we'll talk Zoom stuff later. I'll give you some more tips. Because yeah, but I've been getting it around.
That's right. I love it. I got my notebook. All right. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Shaina.
Thank you
Pleasure.
all so much for
Bye.
coming, and thanks, Angie, for having me.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thanks.
Good
Bye.
night.